Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Board Games Unlocked, and Bailey and I are doing a discussion over Fateforge Chronicles of Kaan. Now, this is a preliminary discussion that I always do over campaign games because typically they actually take like too long because I want to get a review out, like initial impressions on it. And if I was to wait till we completed the whole campaign, some games I wouldn't have a review out for fucking years. But this game's almost kind of an exception. I feel like I actually could have waited until we finished it because it's so quick. But so this is kind of our initial thoughts. We did complete Act 1 out of 3. So we've got a discussion out a little bit later. But man, this game is like blazing through.
Oh yeah, it's really fast.
Like
really fast. It feels like besides the setting up part, each thing, it's very smooth.
It really is. Like this, I'm gonna go ahead and say it, this game I think is really, really good. Like I play a lot of campaign games, and a lot of them I really like, but some of them can kind of become a little cumbersome to be like. It's like, oh, I don't really want to set this up. And this one, like, the whole campaign is fit into one box. Like, I don't have to fucking finagle with 14 different mini boxes or a ton of miniatures that I can't store anywhere. Like, this is an amazingly written, and I'm invested in the story.
The story's actually pretty decent. Besides the blatant racism that they have inside it toward people who live out in the woods.
Oh, right, yeah, they really hate the forest people.
Forest people are just not their friends.
I mean, it's your every fantasy has that.
Yeah, it has those stereotypes.
But without, like, honestly, that's the only thing, that's probably one of my biggest nitpicks, and it's not even that big of a deal, because normally during games, mainly a recording issue is me having to set up. Stop the time, look for more tiles and stuff. But like this game is just like you take a couple minutes to set up the tiles. Technically, you don't even need to find the correct tiles because the art doesn't matter.
Yeah, it just because most of the tiles are all the same. They just have different like looks on them.
Yeah, like if you want to be a little bit more immersed into kind of where you're at, that's really it. But there's nothing stopping you from just being like, okay, I need an L, grab just an L. I need a big thing, like who cares? Just put it out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, like somehow they were able to still fit, because like usually whenever a game is as quick or as light as this one is, there's always like a downside. It's not as strategic, or you don't build out a character, you don't make decisions, like you just roll dice and it's like whatever. This game found a way, I think.
It kind of like blends all of it together.
Yeah.
Like, I know like we don't have like a super detailed backstory about like our characters, but we know that they're part of the forest people.
Right. And
you're here just to, help that. Like you're a champion. That's about all we know. So I mean, I would like a little bit more of a backstory to them. Probably the only other thing that I would say that I would like to see is actually, since they do already inside of the app have the music and the sound effects, actually go through and get like a voice actor.
Yes. That is the one thing that irks me about a lot of narrative campaigns, that it's like, if you don't have someone who's reading, like, I'm almost checked out, because now this one is very managed with like, it's like, it's usually pretty quick to be like, here's your quick thing of reading. It's still writing, but then boom, you're in combat. So I'm not tearing up my voice to like read pages and pages and pages of dialogue to where I'm not retaining anything and you're bored listening to me read. But yeah, it's weird that they went through all the trouble of having the app and the music and manage all the minutia of cards and health and stuff, but not get a voice actor.
Yeah, not get the voice actors.
And it didn't even have to be like, oh, a female's talking to get a female voice actor.
Someone to read it.
Just someone to read. Yeah, that would have been a nice. And they technically could. I can't remember how well this game did on Kickstarter. I know Mighty Boards is a pretty decent publisher. Like they've made many games before, so it's like I don't think it was a funding thing, but I don't know. Yeah, the non-audio narration is quite a bit of a bummer. But what this game exceeds at is just, I mean, we've been playing, like, we finished Act 1 in a day.
Yeah, a day. Yeah.
And I was thinking, like, it's weird because I'm conflicted because it's like, man, do I want my campaign games to be, like, short like that, or do I want them to be long? But then if they're long, then it's just another thing that I have to try and time around versus, like, maybe a short campaign is really good because if it's as decision-making as it is, like, I mean, how many decisions have we come across that could have been different? I mean, some slight spoilers, but the girl or the cat.
Yeah, the girl and the cat, we could have 100% not have ever found the cat, never would have went to the witches stuff.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I mean, I know that the game has a fail-forward system, so if you fail, like, I wonder what would have happened if we didn't beat that boss.
Oh, yeah,
like,
and then
does that change?
Would they have, maybe the boss would have been at, when we went to the side quest to go look at the guy, maybe he was there.
Yeah. Or does the fleet actually leave and get to across the sea and attack the forest? I don't know, but that's actually kind of the great thing about how quick this game is if you do finish it, you can find that out.
Yeah, you can go back through and try.
Right, because other massive games, like, usually it's like we finish them and it's like, I'm done, because this was way too long. It took 2 years to finish.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know if I want to commit to another campaign of this just to see what different stories are. Usually when I find out what a narration, like a choice-driven game, what its differences are is because, like, Devin or someone else has the game and they're playing it, and since I played it with them, they're making different decisions on their campaign. And I find out through him. Like, we had a game called Madara that me and him did a campaign, and he did one with him and his friend, and he would actively make different decisions. And I was like, ooh, okay, so what happened? Because I'm not replaying this act.
Also, I think, like, because I haven't played a ton of the actual, like, games like this with you guys before, but, like, I mean, I've heard through a handful of them, like, yeah, some of those ones do take 2 years or so to play, but with this one right here, like, we definitely easily could have added in the 2-3 other characters, and I still think that combat sequence would have just flown by.
Yeah, and it's so surprising because it's like, somehow they watered down combat without really losing any strategy.
Oh no, because, like, we hit a few bumps. We were like, what can we do? Like, we actually had to stop, and the mechanic of, like, keep your rolls hidden, of, like, because we don't want to go through and, like, I don't want to tell you exactly what to do, which is okay, but going through and doing that to go through and try to maneuver around the game, it makes it a little bit more fun because, like, you don't know exactly in a random moment what someone else is thinking they're going to do.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're able to sit there, because I thought I was going to hate that too, of, like, that fog of war, like, oh, I can do some damage is always just weird to me. But here, because it's so clean, it's like, okay, well, what can you shoot that person?
Yeah, I can hit that guy from a distance, or like, I can at least make it to there but not do anything.
Right. And it has enough cooperation of utilizing dice to, I mean, we don't really have anything with our characters on really helping each other with die rolls, but there are other characters that do have that. Oh, hey, spend a miss to let someone else roll a miss.
Yeah, which that was one of the ones I think
it's the shaman, I think, who has that. And they took away the fiddliness of movement, like, where it's like, oh, I have 5 movement points. And because a lot of games will either have it to where you can only move orthogonal, like up, down, left, right, which is my preferred way of movement, because if you can move diagonal, that kind of takes away a lot of strategy. There's one game I've played that has diagonal movement that actually works. But here, it's like, oh, on your turn, you get a dash. Like, because this game could have easily been shit if you only moved if you rolled boots.
Yeah.
You know how annoying that'd be if it was like, oh, I can't, okay, I guess I can't move.
Yeah,
you know?
I can't go anywhere.
Like, that sucks.
I mean, there was times, like, I rolled all attacking.
Yeah.
But I can't move out.
Yeah, or it's like, they found enough mitigation where it's like, you can still roll poorly, but you're able to still at least do something. I told you before we even started this, these dice were going to make or break this game for me.
Goodness.
Like, how this dice combat, or these action dice, were going to be implemented was going to either make me love this game or hate this game.
Yeah, because sometimes taking a game where it's all luck.
Are you okay?
Dude, I don't know what's going on. I started choking. But yeah, so taking a game where it's all luck based, so that's a big iffy.
Yeah, but they have the fact, one, the preparation phase, which that's actually amazing to have, where it's like you're not rolling and resolving. You're not sitting here like, okay, I'd like to attack. Hopefully I hit.
Yeah, hopefully
I guess I missed, and that shit's so annoying.
We can roll and kind of like guess, like, okay, well, I did okay in this, but like, did you do good?
Right. You get to sit there and see that, and the fact you get to sit there and be like, okay, I rolled 2 misses out of my 4 dice, and you're always just rolling 4 dice, even if your pool gets more. They confined it to where it's like, now you just have more options to choose from. Yeah. You want to go more heavy in range? Well, you got a bow and you got armor, so now pick 4 blue dice.
Yeah.
You want to maneuver, you want to hit melee up close, then pick those colored dice. But it's like, you get to roll, and then you get to, if you roll the misses, you get to spend stamina to roll all those misses. So you get some mitigation. And after all that, you then decide player order. Like, that is so awesome.
Yeah.
Of being like, okay, here's what I got. Okay, you're done rolling. We're happy with what we got. Okay, who wants to go first? Because we know it's going to be us enemy reaction than them, or than you, or it's enemy reaction than us too. So what can we mitigate? Like, the combat seems way more like of a puzzle.
Yeah.
With just how static they're going to be. So we know exactly what they're going to do on their turn, but we don't know how they're going to react.
Yeah, I like the reaction phase of them, because then it does add that extra, like, okay, we had a plan, but now they kind of moved.
Yeah.
So now we kind of have to guess if they're going to do something else.
Exactly. Or, yeah, because there's been many times where it's like, okay, if we do this, if I go first and the rats react, then I can actually take care of them. They didn't do anything, so crap, me going first kind of sucks. So that just made this dice system way more fun, because I'm able to kind of not necessarily control exactly and get what I want, but I'm able to kind of, because roll or resolve for me is the luck in games where it bugs me the most is whenever I have in my head what I want to do, and then I roll and that tells me if I can or not. And then if I can't, then it bums me out. Versus, okay, let me roll. Okay, now let's see what I can do with this.
Yeah, now I can figure out.
I'm guaranteed to do something here, so okay, I can move, I can hit up close, or ooh, I'm in the arrow stance, so now I can use this to move and attack again. The game kind of makes you feel like a badass, but not too much of a badass, because you get hit once and you're just like, alright.
Ooh, I need to back up.
Yeah.
I also like the, so like with my normal blue arrow dice, I have like 3 or 4 attack options.
Mm-hmm.
Both the black one with the actual like bow that I got in game, like I only have 2, but they're strong if I hit them.
Yeah,
I have 1 normal and then 2 strong
in our first boss.
Yeah, it works out really well. But I mean, if I don't roll it, then we really have to go through and rethink about what are we gonna do.
Well, they also have the 3 of a kind, which hasn't come up for me yet, but being like, okay, I rolled 3 boots. I don't need to move that much. Oh wait, I can select one of them to be anything I want.
Yeah.
So, and again, even if you roll all 3 or like, let's say you get really bad luck and roll 4 misses, well, if you ran out of stamina, well, then that kind of sucks, because then you're really SOL. But that stamina mitigation, I think, is also really cool, because it's like, how much do I want to burn? Because at the end of combat, I only gain it 1 back. I gain 1 stamina and 1 health back. Like, that sucks. And I thought it was going to be brutal. Like, I thought this game was going to be so stupidly difficult to manage, like, health and all that, but it really hasn't been that bad.
No.
I think lowest you got was down to 2
I got
health.
down to 2, but, like, at the end of it, we were able to heal me back up to only having 5 at the end once we got out.
Right. I mean, and again, if you go and do side quests and you actually do well, like you don't take any damage, well, at the end of that, you gain a health back.
Also, I like that one of the side quests we did, we had the option of not fighting, and we actually were able to talk to someone and talk our way through the problem.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't came across the other 2 that we've done. We haven't had that option, but
it is nice that the side quests are that as an option. You have some ways to utilize your characters. Like we've had some where it's like in a main quest was, oh, make a lore check. Well, when none of us are,
we're not good at that.
Yeah, we're not mages.
However, with the last one we did, the last side quest, we had the pickpocket come up. I have the perception, so like I should have been able to, like at least done like maybe a medium or a hard roll.
Oh yeah.
To try to go through and see it.
Yeah.
But like other than that, but like that's still fine. Like it still led into this.
Yeah, it's not quite D&D where it's like you're constantly making checks, but they have it come up enough that you're able to still feel like your items and your decisions matter.
And whenever they do come up, like it is like a really important part.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, still all the side quests I think have been pretty unique. Like, okay, you have to go interrogate a guard, and depending on, like, we could have actually just tried and fought, kill that guard and then make a hard check.
Oh yeah.
And be like, you know what, let's risk it. But if you fail, then you don't interrogate.
You don't find out.
Or the fact that as on our way, it was like, hey, have the forest guard read something.
Oh yeah, which gave me the option of, hey, say this out loud, or just kind of keep it to yourself. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But it didn't come up with anything after that. So
yeah, and I'm curious if that was just based off decisions or what happened with that.
I mean, if we didn't interrogate properly, we would have got lost out there.
Oh yeah,
maybe because the witch showed up.
That's
and
true.
Helped us through.
Yeah, I'm very curious as to how branching this game is, because after we did a side quest after defeating a boss that had huge story implications, and that side quest seemed like it was talking about the effects of what happened in that boss fight, and it's like, would that have been there?
Because we had it the first rest also. It was already a side quest we could have done. What would have happened if we would have done that one instead of go to the witch?
That's true.
It could have been something different.
Go and listen to his speech and see how that goes. Maybe that wouldn't have done a pickpocket thing.
Yeah, maybe.
But that's the thing is, in this game, you actually, because it's so quick, you have that opportunity to finish it out and be like, let's try it again. Let's play it with different characters.
Yeah.
And see what options open up when you have the shaman and the mercenary. Mm-hmm. Versus being like, this took way too long. There's no way I'm going to ever play this again anytime soon.
We could easily redo the first act as different characters just to see.
And there's literally in the app, and the app is fantastic. Usually it's a different publisher who does a lot of apps. The one that they did is really good. But let's see. So, exit to main menu. Like load campaign, there's 4 slots.
Oh, cool.
So you could actually have multiple different games going on. And pick 2, or if you have 2 players, pick 2 different characters, because the save slot allows you to take, all these items, there's the baggie in here, that's where you put all your items and your skills you've unlocked in there.
Okay.
So other characters have that as well, so it's like, just you're able to do different narrative decisions.
Well, now I'm curious if you have more than one game going on, if I have the agility thing,
you'd probably have to remember that someone has that, and just pull it from them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that would be my guess. It actually, what does it say? Because it is at the back of the. It says card management, so not sure. I mean, it talks about saving the campaign or changing player count and restarting an act. So that is mentioned in here. Do you think, so here's my question about like combat and stuff. Do you find that this game has a good balance of difficulty, or are you finding it pretty easy?
A little back and forth.
Yeah.
Maybe because like, once we get away, like certain distance away from people, they don't come after us anymore.
Right.
I do kind of wish there was more of that chase involved, because like during the last one, whenever we were fighting the actual boss, there was 6 guys sitting over in the corner, and we're over here, and we still had 2 turns.
Right.
They easily could have came over, but they didn't. They don't have that action to move around. But I think if like they know we're there, like if you think about it, like in like D&D style or like actual video games, like they know something's going on, but they're not moving
from
that spot.
Right, yeah, because it's like, it says if there are no heroes within the leftmost range, check the second space. So it's like in this, okay, is there no one within 1? Okay, then it's good. If there's no heroes within range of any enemy token of the type shown, none of them activate.
Yeah, which
I think, and I was like, as that kept happening a little bit, I was like, am I doing this wrong? I'm like, I don't think so, because the game is like, we know exactly what they're going to do. The enemy reaction is the unknown. So that's like, well, we know the bruiser here is only going to attack if it's in 0.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, but his reaction might be different. His reaction might cause him to move. So, yeah, it is kind of weird that once you're a certain distance away, that they just kind of are like,
we're done.
Whatever. That is kind of a weird thing to me, is you, like, once you complete, because most games, once you complete the objective, it's like get to the X, like, it's like get to the X and then
it's done.
Yeah, combat's over. Here, it's like, nope, you have to
wait out
the rounds. It's like, but why? I like having the round limit, because then it's just like, well, everything's so easy, like, let's just, like, we just have to sit there. But if it's like the last one we just did, where it's like the pickpocket was getting away, I'm just like, like, I don't know what happens if it's at that exit. It's like, do I fail? Like, I'm on round 4. I gotta kill him this round, otherwise I lose.
And then with all of the skeletons that we had, that one got a little. I think that one's where we got the most, like. No, we didn't lose as much health, but we did go through and have to be, like, more strategy focused, because if they're not able to, because they come back after every turn, so, like, that builds up really fast whenever you're not able to move around as much.
Yes, exactly. Especially if you don't have a way to ignore dashing damage.
Yeah.
Which luckily I do, so it's like that helps a lot.
And I couldn't get away, so I had to stay there and kind of just like keep picking them off. But like they built up around me, and it's like, okay, I have to just take an extra damage and get out of there.
Right, and that's why I'm kind of thinking, well, combat isn't more, because there's another game called Gloomhaven where a lot of the objectives are just kill all enemies, and it's like that gets old very quick. So I'm glad it doesn't have that, where it's just like, kill all enemies. It's like, okay, well, they all have 1 HP. Who gives? We can shoot them from any tile away, whatever. Here, at least with the skeletons and stuff, it was like a lot more about mitigating their reactions. It's like, oh shit, because there were a lot of times where it's like, okay, I can get rid of the rats, and that means we'll get to the exit. No, wait, they're all going to activate at the end of the round, and there's 4 of them there, and that's just gonna one shot you.
So like with the skeletons, what I think could have been a little bit better is, yes, after the first time, they go down once, and then the next round, they come back 1 time.
Right.
I think, or maybe 2, depending on, like, what style they are.
Because they gave you an item that was, like, specifically to counter their reaction.
But, like, if I walked away, and let's say they're, like, because at one point we had, like, 8 build up on one thing. I can stop a bunch of them from coming back, but as soon as I move away, they're all back again, and they can move towards me.
Yeah, unless we're, 2 spaces away.
Yeah, unless we're 2 spaces away. Then they're like, we can't do anything.
Right. I wonder if they tried to mitigate, like, okay, we're out of their line of sight, so they're like, you know how it's like in video games where you get so far away and their indication meter goes down, they're just like, oh, guess they're gone.
Yeah.
That seems to be the case here.
But that normally is always just from, like, the stealth aspect.
Yeah.
So, like, you can make noise and then they can look for you. But, like, in that scenario, you get found, everyone knows right where you're at.
Right. Yeah, I'm wondering, I'm almost thinking, because all of the cards that pulled out, I wonder if it's one, because there's 2 of us. So if they had more health, it probably might have been too cumbersome. Because they couldn't make the enemies have too much health, because for us to deal damage to them, 1, they all heal if we don't kill them at the end of the round. And still, at the end of the day, how we deal damage is based off dice. So even though there's a ton of mitigation, like, let's say you roll a bunch of boots, and it's like, okay, well, none of them are misses, so I guess I can turn 1 into an attack. It has 2 health, I can't even kill it. So it's like, they couldn't make all the enemies beefy, because then they would just swarm us, and we would just die.
Yeah.
So, while I do feel that it is a little easy, I don't feel like it's too easy. Because I think the inverse of it, if it was like too hard, I would be very annoyed. The dice would start to piss me off.
Yeah.
Because I've played games where I start I start the session having a great time, even though it's dice resolution. But by the end of like a binge session like we did, I'm pissed. I'm so frustrated by the end of it. I'm like, I fucking hate this game. I'm so sick of these dice. Oh, I missed again. Okay, that's fucking cool. Here, I'm just like, yeah, cool. Oh, another combat? Great. And I don't really like combat. I'm usually here for the story. And it's just like, oh, yeah, okay, let's fight. Let's see what happens. So, I don't know. I think the drawing a line to an exit at the end of a combat is another thing where it's just kind of like you escape no matter what. Mm-hmm. Like, combat is going to end regardless at the end of a round. It's just how much enemies did you leave alive. Yeah. Like, did we risk it to go after that chest at the end of the round and realize that there are 3 enemies left, so we all take 3 damage on the way out? I don't know. I think time will tell. That will be my only probably major complaint by the end of it, is if all acts are kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, we won. Like, there was only 1 or 2 instances where I was like, we might lose.
Yeah, we may not get past it. I think this was one of them.
This is pretty much the only one, actually. It's like, I might not... Actually, I was very confident until we looked at the health, and I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah. Like, this one was that scenario of only one of us were allowed to be in here.
Which is cool.
Which is a pretty good, like, it's a chase scene. So
yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, pick one of us, and maybe because we have a really, like, both range and dex, like, that's a good duo.
Yeah.
Like, if we had, like, our shaman or our mercenary, it's just kind of like, I'm kind of built to stand still. I can't really move a lot. So, shit. And our shaman's good on misses for helping other people. Also not great to be by themselves.
Yeah.
I liked how each side quest didn't really feel the same. Even though the tiles and all that look the same pretty much.
Yeah.
The overall objectives has been pretty versatile.
I think the overall storyline is, like, even the side quest storyline, no matter how small, there's still, like, that small impact.
Yeah.
Like, throughout the entire game, it feels like. Anyway.
Yeah, I'm really vibing with this game. I think it does feel like, though, and this will be something we'll talk about at the end of the overall campaign, Act 1 might have still been kind of like a tutorial. I feel like the game might open up a lot more in Acts 2 and 3. I'm hoping they're longer. I think Act 1 is a good, like, what do they call it?
Intro?
A good intro. Yeah, that's not the turn of phrase I was hoping to say, but, like, kind of like to test the waters, get us into the kind of like the opening story. It's like almost like a bit, levels 1 to 3. Oh, hey, like in D&D, it's like, oh, hey, now your subclass opens up. Now we can kind of start throwing new.
Okay,
like, we gave you enough money, you have enough food, you got some items, you got some skills. Now we're going to make it challenging. That's what I'm hoping Acts 2 and 3 are. Because I will say, even though I like that this is short and we're making progress, and it's good progress, I'm really hoping Acts 2 and 3 are a little bit longer.
I think so, too.
And because even the boss fight was like, it's a mage.
Yeah, he just ran away.
It's just some dude. Yeah, he was like, who's mines to deal with them. Hell, even one of his attacks where he had everyone move in, I was like, okay.
Oh, that's good.
And then he ran away, and it's like, oh, okay. So that's kind of what I'm hoping as the campaign goes on. Like, I really like the combat. I want us to sit here and not... Like, I like that combat's quick, but I would also like it to kind of be, like, very methodical. Because most of the time we stick together.
Yeah,
so,
I mean...
Whenever they're making decisions where it's like, who do we go after? I would like them to actually have to make a decision. Be like, okay, we're both 2 spaces away. Shit, you went first, and you're the one that has the most damage. It's going to go towards you.
Yeah.
Dang it! Like, I want us to have to look at their tiebreaker a lot more and kind of be more involved in combat. So, not saying Act 1 is bad, but I will say I will kind of be, like, disinterested if Acts 2 and 3 kind of
are pretty much the same thing.
Pretty much the same thing.
I get that.
What do you think of the story sections, like the rest scenes and stuff, where it's like
I like it.
Where we actually use the map.
I like the map. Like, I like the idea of it.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of times where it has us put the token thing on it and then just be like, go into a fight.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think they're expecting us to keep this off to the side, which I guess we could.
Thing.
And that would work better if we weren't recording. If we were just playing, we could keep it off to the side. I was like, well, I want to show the map.
But I feel like, because beginning it started us off there at 1 and 15. Mm-hmm. And it was like, it popped up with which direction do you want to go. Mm-hmm. But it gave us such a decent detail. We can look on the map and say, oh, it's right there.
Right.
Oh, it's right there. So, like, what if it just said, you need to head south towards wherever. Mm-hmm. And we're like, okay, we don't know where that's at. Okay, at least we know where south is oriented. Let's start heading south. Yeah. Do you want to go left or right to head down south? Mm-hmm. And that could have opened up more, side quests. That could have opened up more, like, activities, something like that.
It is weirdly, because the way that they make it sound, and this could be more accentuated in Acts 2 and 3, but in Act 1, it's specifically like, so detailed that it's like you're not getting lost. No. Like, you're getting lost if you actively go out of your way. To be like, I know it said the cat was going northeast. Yeah, let's go southeast. There's no reason why you would. Yeah. Because it's like, it feels like, again, kind of like, hey, like, here's the story. Here's how, the rest scenes work. So I would like to see this, because this idea is really good. Like, you're not from here. Like, you have a rudimentary map that could be outdated, so you're just given vague directions. And the fact that they gave us that card where it showed, like, it was like just lines.
It was the boat and then a straight line.
It was pretty much a straight line. But that, again, to me makes it seem like, hey, here's just kind of a taste of what can happen. Yeah. You can be given very vague directions, like you're saying, and you could get lost. I want to get lost.
I do too. Like, I want to see, like, really what happens when you do get lost. I mean, because, like, you're in a big city. Like, you're going to get lost.
Right. Because there are two games that this maps kind of idea happens. There's a game called Oathsworn where you go to various different cities, and it gives you tokens to place, and those are locations you can go to. And that kind of is like, okay, well, but you're still time restricted, so it's like, okay, where do we go to? And that kind of is what the locations are, where it's like we have 4 time to do stuff, so we can't do everything. Do we want to spend 2 time to train? Well, in our first rest session, that was basically it. Yeah. And it's like, do we want to spend money in 2 time, or do we want to do more side quests? So I want more of that.
Yeah, so you want, like, more time added in?
No, I want more decision making.
More decision.
To sit here and be like, we have 4 time. All of these sound interested. Do we want to spend, 2 time to train and get a skill, and only do 1 side quest? Do we want to do 4 side quests? Do we want to?
So, instead of them popping out and say, hey, here's your side quest, like, for you to go and do. Mm-hmm. I want it to be like, okay, like, we saved that one, we talked to that one girl, or we talked to someone, I don't remember who it was, but they gave us the thing to go find the witch.
Oh, it was the chick hiding behind the trash can.
The trash can, yeah. That's funny. But yeah, so getting the side quest that way is fine, but the other ones were just like kind of already thrown in.
Yeah, it was like, we were given. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's like, hey, do you want to go hear the Emperor's speech? Yeah, and then once we decided that, it just automatically put us there.
Yeah, instead of giving us it could have gave us a direction to get there.
Go find the town center.
We could have missed it. Like, okay, right. Okay, it actually takes you, like, they know where we're at off of, like, what we type in. Mm-hmm. Like, we're at 16 and 5 is where it's at. We took 4 turns to get there, but it should only took us 2 turns to get there, kind of thing. And, like, okay, we missed the speech, and something else happens.
I actually, I 100% agree. Like, because it's kind of like, like, again, in Oathsworn, it's just kind of, what they're basically doing here is like as if we had those tokens, and it's like, okay, let's just go there. Like, we know where the town center is. It's like, but you've themed it in a way that we shouldn't know where anything's at. Why do we make it to the town center on time? Like, why did we know? I mean, we were given explicit directions from the trash can lady where the witch was.
How to go.
But, it was the same way for the market. like we made it straight to the market where the brothers were.
Which, you tell me what number that was. I wasn't even sure which one it is.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of the numbers, but it just took us there.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, do you want to explore the market or do you want to talk to the brothers? It's just like, well, I mean, it would have been cool if like we had to try and find it, because then that allows us to, like, let's say, we start at 16 and we have to go east, or we have to go west, but we go north and then we go east. God damn it, we go west, and then that gets us to 24 instead of 12.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you're at 24, and then it gives us a new side quest. It just pops in.
Hey, we could have got there, and the one brother who we actually got the mission from was there, and we didn't go talk to the other one because his shop was closed because he left or something.
Exactly.
And because it took us too long to get there.
Right.
And like, we would have known he was actually a good guy.
Yeah.
And we would have just robbed him anyway.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm really hoping, again, that Acts 2 and 3 are longer and the story sections are a lot more involved. I think for Act 1, again, if they're testing the waters or kind of like whetting our appetite to kind of be like, all right, now you kind of know what's going on.
Yeah, you know what's up. Here's a little bit more into it.
Yep. That's again, I don't think it's bad, but for me, I would like this game to be a little bit more involved, because if it stays the way it is, it will kind of be like going through the motions, and I'll never pull this map out.
Yeah.
Like, it's like you have a cool map here, but I'm never gonna pull it out because it's more annoying to pull this map out to put the token on to then take it off and then put it up than it is to set up the tiles.
Yeah.
Because at least the tiles, I know I'm getting into combat and it's super quick to pull them out. But yeah, that's just fiddly and annoying. But who knows? Like, Acts 2, I don't know if let's see. I might actually be able to tell us how Acts 2 is gonna look. So if I load the campaign, we are in Acts 2. So Acts 2 right now is, I think, the same. I think it's 2 combats, rest scene, 2 combats, rest scene, 2 combats, rest scene.
That's a pretty good,
Actually, I think that is longer. Because the rest scenes technically have side quests and stuff, and those were combats that weren't considered. So it's like, did we only have 2 combats? We only had 2 rest scenes, right?
We only had 2 rest scenes.
Yeah.
So we had the first one was we followed the cat, because that was still technically not a side quest.
Right.
So we followed the cat.
Actually,
no, we fought the people, then we followed the cat.
Hold on, I'm looking. I'm just starting the Act 1. Continue. Yeah, okay, yeah, Act 1 was 2 combats, rest scene, 2 combats, rest scene. So Act 2 is longer.
Nice.
By 2 more combats and another rest scene.
Cool.
Good to know. That is good to know. Now here's the other thing. Because I've played, again, a lot of campaign games. What do you think of the character customization? I know you said you wanted more backstory and we're kind of whatever.
Yeah.
Do you feel unique and different from me? Because I think that...
Oh, yeah, okay. I definitely do. Because, you're, right now, after our training thing we did during our last rest scene, now if I roll a actual, melee attacking... Mm-hmm. It turns into a range one for me. Right. And with you, if you roll a range, you can use it as a step and attack.
Yeah, if I'm in a certain stance.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think that's really the getting the items to really customize your character and stuff like that to kind of make them a little bit different is pretty good.
They clearly went. I mean, Fateforge, again, to my understanding, is an RPG, like a tabletop RPG like D&D. So it makes me think that. It's just like, okay, you have your standard classes. You have your fighter, you have your rogue, you have your ranger, you have your shaman, or you have your wizard, and then the 5th one, whatever the 5th one is. You have your because we have the mercenary, which is like your fighter or your tank, your ranger, dex build, fighter, nobleman, I guess. Then your rogue, and then your wizard, your spellcaster. Yeah. So they kind of have the standard classes here, but Yeah, no, I think even from like these starting ones, like
they were pretty decent.
I was like, man, I'm really like am digging these. Like I'm sitting here, I had to double check at one point. I'm like, is this correct? Like
now I will say like my Intimidate one, it's good, but like unless I rolled that and I have someone in front of me, then yeah, it works. But like most of the time,
I don't think you've used it at all.
I haven't used it.
Yeah, that one, yeah, definitely feels like a very niche. Like I think it might come in handy a lot more because of your current build. Like you're. It looks like you're leaning way more into being purely ranged.
Oh yeah.
So if someone runs up on you during a reaction that we weren't planning for, and you're like, "Oh, good, I have my focus. I can actually get away from me and then shoot them."
The only other thing that like is like based off of the marksman ability that he has, I would have had to gone rogue, like or not rogue, like a range.
Build, oh yeah,
like, but like if it gave me the option of having this or like let's say like with the ranger you can go through and do either a dex distance range fighter, or you can do like a twin weapon style fighting, like maybe give me an extra like ability to use like a side weapon or something like that that's extra.
Yeah, well I mean you can because your bow isn't cumbersome,
but like well I mean like so like my marksman is very much specifically like you should only be using a bow because you have to re-roll if you roll a sword.
Yeah,
you have to re-roll, or you don't have to. But
you don't have to, but yeah, because you're definitely designed to be a ranger. Yeah. But I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't have the steel dagger.
And I'm not saying like I couldn't go through and use it, but like it's just the idea of like having that extra idea of second ability to let me do something that he wouldn't normally do.
And technically there's nothing stopping you from picking a different character.
I mean that's true.
I think there is something in the rules about swapping heroes. Anytime outside of combat you may swap an active hero for a new one. Unlike changing player counts, this feature does not require restarting an act. So if we wanted to add in a player, I think you have to restart the act and change the player count. But otherwise, if you're just like, oh, I want to play someone else.
I can go through, like, for the next act, I can switch over to the mercenary.
Yeah.
Okay. That's pretty cool. And that's a pretty cool way of actually doing it.
I agree. I also like the fact that there's a ton of options.
Oh, there are so many. I think you can use 6 of them.
Yeah.
That's such a well-versed, ability. Like,
so there's another game I'm playing, I'm almost done with, called Primal, and it's basically a boss battler. But they restrict you so hard on items. It's like you get one helmet, 1 armor, and 1 unique weapon and 3 potions. Yeah. And it's like the 3 potions or whatever, but it's like 1 item, but they pump you with a bunch. And it's like I would love to combo these together, but I can't. Here it's just like so far they've given enough weapons. Some we've missed. Some it's like we can't go back and get that chest. So what did we miss? You know, the one where it was like the bandits and there was all the guards there. It's like that was probably the better item.
Yeah, it might have been the better item.
But they give you enough to be like, okay, you have armor, you have a pouch of thorns. They didn't make it too cumbersome where you're just bogged down with and look and be like, okay, oh, I forgot I had that, you know? But it's enough to sit here and be like, I feel like I'm building a character. But it's expensive. It's like, do we want to pay
It is expensive. It is because we're not, to really get all the gold in each turn, you have to kill everyone in it to get it. So there's been times where it's like, okay, we can't even. Let's not even worry about it. We were chasing the boss, and there was one here, and it's like no one was in that room.
Yeah.
But we didn't want to waste that extra turn to let him get farther away. Because who knows? Whenever he reached the end, he could have disappeared.
I know.
And,
whenever any of them are running towards an exit, it makes me think something happens if they get there. Because I agree. Because also the difficult part is. Well, what's really neat is, because in some games, like Gloomhaven, it's like, they make it weirdly competitive to fight for money. So it's like, whenever I pick up loot, it's mine. And I can't get, where it's fully cooperative, but I can't give you money.
Yeah.
Or if I get an item, it's mine. Here, it's just like, oh, I picked up this item, okay, I can equip it, but outside of combat, there you go. Yeah,
you can have it,
there you go. But money is shared. And that's interesting because it's like you got that we bought you an item and you could have just been like, yeah man, grab that 5 cost skill. Like I got the armor, you get the skill. Yeah. But it's like, well, I mean, it's cooperative. Let's see if we can both find a compromise and both of us get a skill.
Like, I was totally fine with you doing it since I did get that. But you pushed like, hey, let's both get an extra skill. And I was like, you know what, that's fine. Let's definitely do that.
More skills are probably going to be good. I like the fact that they have enough tests like in here of like, it's not D20, it's just easy, medium, hard.
Yeah.
Do you have this particular skill to give you
an extra boost.
An extra, potential success or a way to re-roll.
Yeah.
They did a lot of stuff without, like, they made a really good decisions of compromise.
Yeah.
Where I'm not sitting here feeling like, man, I really wish they did this, or I wish they did this. Like, all my major negatives of Act 1 are just things I'm hoping they expand upon in Acts 2 and 3, and just from looking at Acts 2, it's like, oh, well, we already have 3 more things.
Yeah.
That's not even including side quests that we're getting.
That's true. So the only other thing that I really like the mechanic of the walls, the barriers.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing is, I do wish we couldn't move through the barriers. Like, we had to spend like an attack to break down the barrier,
or do what difficult terrain does, and you have to spend an extra move
to
or
move
something.
past it.
Yeah, I think it has mattered though that not being able to.
Oh yeah, because I could have dropped the boss when he was in that first room over here, but I couldn't shoot.
Oh, because his reaction was causing the move,
and I couldn't shoot through that wall to drop him.
Yeah, I think there's not a whole lot of tokens, but they've done enough that it's like, because you're only limited to 4 dice, you can have all the dice in the world, but you still have to only pick 4. That still has came up. Again, I still feel like Act 1 is still kind of a glorified tutorial over the overall game, but it's done enough that it's like we're still strategizing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and the character building, it's like the first weapon I got, I'm like, you know what? I think I can build around this. Like, I roll this symbol, that it gives me that symbol, which basically acts as if it's that die to then use one of my new skills. That's cool. Yep. You get to combo. I have a decision if I want to be in defense stat. Like, do I want to go into low guard now that I know I'm about to be attacked? Use my focus to get a block, and then use that combo to get an attack and a block, so now I can absorb 2 damage. Like, do I want to run in there and kind of like fence off? Like, it feels very thematic. Like, I can see the combat happening in my head.
Yeah, it's very like not cut and dry, not really cut and dry, but it's very that like easy, fluid motion to really understand what's going on.
Yeah, and a lot of these games can become bogged down with rules, like where it's like fiddly little things that you're constantly forgetting. One of my favorite games that I'm playing is like a 70-page rulebook, and I'm like, I quit rereading it. It's like, you know what? I've played this enough that I think I can retain what's happening, but you know what? If something comes up, I'm just gonna dig in the rules. I don't care anymore to try and remember it all. And here, like, after reading the rules and then doing the tutorial, I was like, no, I think I got it.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, there's a few things like here and there that I'm like, this was correct.
Yeah.
But most of the time it's like, okay, yeah, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's like, what can and can't hit me when I go through them, or something like that.
Right, yeah, it's like, oh, okay, if there are 3 enemies in here and I dash out, do they all hit me? Nope, just one hit.
Just one, yeah.
And technically there is a hardcore mode.
Oh, Jesus.
It's not, I was looking at it earlier and I'm like, oh, that doesn't really seem like much. Where is it? Hold on, because if you want to add a challenge, you can try playing the game in hardcore mode. In hardcore mode, players may discuss their plans and strategy only during the preparation phase. During the action phase, only the active player may speak. Other players are not allowed to talk or influence the active player's decisions in any way. This mode represents the party preparing before battle and then having each hero make their own decisions in the heat of battle. So
that's pretty good.
Now I'm glad they kind of added that, because there's there's hardcore modes where it just makes it like, oh, here are these special cards. Now these, basic recruits have 8 health.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, what? Okay. That's stupid. Here it's like, okay, it kind of really makes the dice, the dice screen a lot more, like, important of, like... But I don't know. That doesn't sound too fun to me, because then, especially for recording, it's just one person talking, and then the one of us is like... it's a cooperative game. I can't talk to my cooperative partners.
Yeah, right.
Like, so that's just kind of like whatever. But yeah, I'm really excited to see what happens within the story.
I'm digging it. Like, it's a pretty good game.
Right.
Especially for someone who has like limited like experience playing these games. I've only played a handful. So yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. It's really easy to slide into.
Yes. Yeah, I'm really glad that like, because this is also like, okay, because it was a decision on how much time do we have, especially because I have this one now. I have one with Keith that we're waiting on updates to come from. I have another one with Keith and Mason. I have one with Devin, and I'm gonna start one with Ariana. So I have 5 campaign games. The one with Ariana we may or may not record, but 4 for sure are recording. And after Devin and I think we might finish the first act of 1. We're gonna jump into Divinity.
Ooh, okay.
And it's like, so that's 5 massive campaign games that I have to revolve at 30 years old around people's schedules and time and their time. And it's like, okay, because I remember you were like, hey, I have a lot of free time. It's like, cool, yeah, I'm free for about a couple hours. Yeah, I don't know.
See,
like,
and that's a little harder with me having a kid at home.
Well, no, exactly.
Kids at home. So
yeah, I'm not sitting here like, what a piece of shit.
Abandon
your kid.
Abandon them. Play video games with me.
No, exactly. So it's like trying to do these series for the channel takes so much effort, not on just my part, but on your part to commit to a time. So this game was the perfect one to be like, okay, it's easy to pick one day a month to finish an act.
This. I mean, this has given us, what, 5? About 4 or 5?
Yeah, 4 or 5 videos just to have as content, and then be like, okay, great. Yeah, that's gonna definitely put out enough time for us to set
and play the next
for Act 2.
Yeah,
it's been a very, very nice. And then now it's like, man, I think more games can learn from this, because again, they have an expansion that is another story. I don't know how big it is, but it is another story. Because of their system here, they can expand upon it in so many ways.
Oh, they could add totally different cities to go to, or I would like to go through and see it, actually go to the forest where you are already a very noted person. Apparently.
Yeah.
So
or new characters. Cool. It's a whole new story thing. And the storage, it's all in this box. And they actually have a video of how to pack it. Yeah. It's like, oh, thank God.
I've heard you mention a lot about how some games, as soon as you pull them out, you have to get other boxes. Yeah. Because you can't put it all back together.
Yeah, you have to, or buy $200 inserts to organize it. It's like, if your campaign game or game itself doesn't have I am less likely to play it. This one, it's just like, yeah, get it out. Cool. I'm more inclined to start a campaign of this than I am one of my, a game I love more than this, because it's just so concise. I was gonna look up how well it did on the old Kickstarter.
I like the art.
I do like the art. Yeah, there's not a lot of it.
Just the few items that they do have, that we've seen so far, they're pretty good. Pretty clean.
Yeah, very detailed, almost God, I don't know, because it's not cartoony.
No, it's not cartoony, but it's kind of like when you're Google searching stuff for Dungeons and Dragons. There's a lot of art made off of that, but this isn't that all has the same style. I mean, this also has its own direct style.
Yes.
It's very fantasy driven, very oil style paintings, and it all looks really nice. Even into the actual cards themselves. From up here, this stuff, obviously they paid someone really well to do these.
Yeah.
But these ones right here even have their own really good detail added in.
And honestly, these wooden chits are brilliant.
I think so too, because they're double use.
Yeah, double-sided. They're super easy once you figure out where they're at. Super easy to grab and just set up. Because it even says here, a mythical co-op action adventure campaign full of surprising twists, a sprawling story, and intense fights in sessions of under 60 minutes. 100%.
Oh, every time that's a perfect.
Yeah, every time we've done a fight session, it's been under an hour.
I think for at least Act 1, the setup between each rest has been about an hour.
Yeah.
hour 20, something like that. So like it's been pretty well.
Right. It made 242,000 with a pledge of 44,000. So they basically made 200K over their goal to print the game. So
they easily could have paid a voice actor to go through and do the rest.
That is my only negative. My only big negative.
Yeah, that's my only like outstanding like thing that I wish they would have done. But other than that, like everything can be easily like the rest of the stuff could bolster and get a little bit better in Act 2 and 3. So.
Yeah, I agree. So only time will tell. But until then, what are you giving this on a scale of 1 to 10?
So with my limited like experience with it, these kind of games, I'm easily gonna go with like an 8, maybe a 9. Like it's like for someone who's like extremely like beginner newbie-ish with this style stuff and like not having to have sprawling things, because I've seen some of your setups before. And like how like much you have out there. It's really easy to keep everything right in front of you, right together. So I think 9.
9?
Yeah, 9.
I'm actually at a 9 as well. Like, it's honestly, I was teetering on even a 10 just because I do play a lot of these games, and nothing pisses me off more than while recording I have to get up and start digging for more shit, because it's like I try to be very focal and like efficient whenever I'm recording, and having to constantly get out of stuff and look for stuff and can't find rules or miss rules. This one just hits a lot of those same beats for me in a significantly less time and less cumbersome way. But it's not a 10 because Act 1 still felt like a glorified tutorial. So it could go up if Acts 2 and 3 expand upon the things that we talked about and still keep it interesting.
Yeah. But it could easily drop if it does feel just like that slow repeat.
Yeah, where it's
shrug along.
Yeah, where it gives us another side quest that we pick, and it's just like place on location 9.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah, why can't I like explore the city?
Why give us a map then?
This thing is stupid though. These stickers make 0 sense.
I mean, it might come in handy next time, so it can be like, hey, go back to the market. We were at the market, and I don't know how to get to the market.
Maybe. Yeah. So maybe that's something.
It's probably just to say, you've been here before, go to it.
Yeah, that is true. I haven't removed these stickers. I have heard that there's no reason to, but maybe it's something that's like there's no reason to remove the stickers, but note down somewhere that you've been there, like what stickers you have removed, because that might come up. So I might have shot myself in the foot by not removing the stickers or noting down when it told me to, but yeah, I'm very excited to keep playing, and it seems like it has an innovative save system, not innovative, but an efficient save system to where, okay, put everything up, and we can easily jump back in.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's our thoughts on Fateforge Chronicles of Kaan. Stick around for the rest of the series. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.